Hello Internet, my name's Lave, and this week I watched Martin Scorsese's new flick, Silence. So this film is set in the 17th century and stars Andrew Garfield and Adam Driver as two Jesuit priests who leave their homeland of Portugal to go to Japan in search of their mentor, Father Ferrier, played by Liam Neeson, who is out in Japan spreading the gospel, but they hear that he might have renounced his faith, so they go in search of him. Now, I was really quite surprised to find out that although their goal is to find Father Ferrier, when they get to Japan, the majority of the film is them also disseminating Catholicism to the Japanese that have chosen to follow that faith. Whilst at the same time, they're trying to avoid persecution from the Buddhist Japanese who are literally trying to exterminate the Christian beliefs from their land. And you should probably know going into this film that it's quite an arduous watch, not only because of the 2.5 hour plus runtime, but because it doesn't hold any punches in its portrayal of these two beliefs clashing. There are some really intense and unsettling scenes that sometimes involve torture. Classic Scorsese. But really at the core of the film, it's a study of faith, or when faith is challenged to its absolute limit, particularly with regards to Andrew Garfield's character Rodriguez. And Garfield is properly fantastic. You really do see him go from this idealistic priest to really questioning his decisions and whether he should abandon his flock or his God. Equally as good is Adam Driver as Father Grupe. Even though he's a supporting character, they do get separated at one point, which I did think was a shame. But both actors bring their A games to their performances, even going a bit method, and both have physically transformed their bodies to take on their roles. The only slight niggle I have with their performances is their accent. Now, as I say, they're playing Portuguese priests, but they're speaking in English language. But on a number of occasions, a few characters say that we've learnt your language, referring to Portuguese, but obviously they're not speaking in Portuguese. They do have a Portuguese twang, but it just drew my attention to it, and I found that a bit annoying, particularly as Liam Neeson doesn't have an accent. The Japanese cast are equally as good. I'm not even going to try to pronounce their names, but I really liked the Inquisitor, who is the leader of the Japanese trying to exterminate Christianity from his land. He's also got an interpreter who shares a couple of really good scenes with Andrew Garfield when they start to debate their religions. There's a really good line when one says to Andrew Garfield that you don't understand Japan, and Andrew Garfield replies, well, you don't understand Christianity. But easily the most fascinating and intriguing character was Yosuke Kupazuka's Kichijiro. I've completely butchered that. He's easily the most interesting character. He plays their guide. They pick him up on their way to Japan, and he's supposed to lead them to all of the other Christian Japanese. He was easily the most interesting character for me, and I don't want to say anything more because of spoilers, but I thought his performance was terrific. Now, as I said, this was quite a strenuous watch. There isn't really any moments of levity in it, but I always found it fascinating. I would definitely say that this is Scorsese's most intellectual and serious film, and definitely his most personal. Putting The Last Temptation of Christ to the side, his other films do have hints of religious themes in them, but this one, it really feels like he's getting his hands into it, and you can see that it's a very personal film, and you can see that he really cares for the source material. I would have to say that this isn't my favourite Scorsese film, but this is definitely his most fascinating film, and it's a must-see for any Scorsese fan. So that's my thoughts on Silence, and pause the video if you want to take a closer look at my enjoyment tracker now. I'm not religious in the slightest, but I've still found this film really interesting. It's gorgeous to look at. I definitely think that the Oscar buzz surrounding this film is warranted, particularly for Andrew Garfield. As I say, it is a tough watch, but it's definitely worth it. Go and see it. Overall, I'm really chuffed that this was my first film of 2017. Not a bad start at all. So thanks very much for watching my review. I really do appreciate it. If you can, give this video a like, and don't forget to share the lave. All my life, I always wanted to be a priest. Subscribe.